Hello, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to Men of War. We're seeing Men of War for the first time on my channel, in super low res quality because I'm an idiot, and I converted it badly, and I deleted the file before I checked the converted file because Fraps records in .avi, which either doesn't work or just takes fucking forever to upload. So, yeah, this is what I was saying before about Ollie playing Men of War. So, this is a strategy game. I'm not going to be doing like a commentary like I would normally. This is going to be, looking at the different strategies Ollie's using. And straight off the bat, I can say there's one thing he's done really wrong. There's one thing he's done right. He's bought an infantry squad playing as the Americans. American infantry squads are good because you get lots of rifles. And American rifles are better because they're semi-automatic and they have 8 rounds, whereas all other rifles, apart from the British have a 10-round bolt-action rifle, which is slower firing. But he's left his machine gun at the back to defend his back point. And the thing is that if anything gets to that back point, likely it's either going to be exceedingly close range or it's going to be something very weak, like a half-tracked vehicle or maybe a jeep, a motorcycle. So what you really want to leave there is probably a submachine gun. And straight up here, German player brings out Panzer II Lukes. Panzer II Lukes is really, really effective at taking out infantry. There's 20mm cannon just rips through, and you can see it's already taken out units down the bottom, and it's going to be taking out more. Ollie does a good thing, brings up anti-infantry, AT infantry with American bazookas. Bazookas are a great way of taking out vehicles. They're pretty much guaranteed a lot of the time, if you hit stuff, to just totally just kill it. Destroy its hull so you can't even rebuild it. But here, another mistake. He was behind perfectly good cover. He's behind this, it's known as the schoolhouse. This building's notorious for being exceedingly good for covering you away from tanks. Don't buy an M20. M20 only has a 50 cal machine gun on the top. It's not going to be able to deal with what is essentially a small tank, and ignore the Steam message. I don't know who that is. If you want to spam them, have fun. They'll probably hate me for saying that, except they don't know who I am. How are we going to deal with the Panzer II then, Ollie? That's me. Ollie says what is true, and he says no fucking clue, because whilst the rocket launcher is a guaranteed way of killing something, and it's a lot cheaper than a tank, as you can see, this game is particularly brutal. That guy just ran it in front of a window on the top left-hand side, and got killed within a second. Yeah, I'm taking the mick out of him now. Ollie is not as good a player as me. I mean, that's not a criticism. I'm not a brilliant player at Men of War. What I am is quite good at looking and analysing. I mean, look, his unit's already taking damage. A 20mm shot will probably kill that guy in a single shot. He can't get up close enough. Sight is being provided, so line of sight is being provided by the infantry. He does a smart thing here. He gets really unlucky. Fires a rocket launcher into this house. I've never seen anybody use rocket launchers like that, but it's actually really effective. I tried it out the other day because when I watched this, I was like, oh wow. And here we go. Brings up an M3, Stuart? Yeah, M3 Stuart. Great tank to counter this with. However, it's also a massive problem because we're playing as I bought an officer. His name is Jesus. That's quite funny. It's also a big problem for us because essential to winning as the Americans is getting a very fast early game advantage, because American stuff is crap but fairly cheap, and German stuff is very good but more expensive. So if they bring out something very, very cheap, like the Panzer II, and your best way of countering it is bringing out something slightly more expensive, what this does is it films a very, very simplistic tit for tat. It's actually the very best way to fight. Oh, look, oh, he's coming up. Oh, he got hit in the face with a high explosive 37mm shell. That is, yeah, that's me saying, ouch. It's gotta hurt. As you see, video settings have been reduced for better performance. That's because this game is not very well optimized. This is why we're seeing from Ollie's view I mean, he was playing in low res anyway. But like I said, I'd converted the file. He's brought up another assault infantry squad. Now that he's got tank superiority, and he's going to bring up infantry, The tank can support the infantry. Problem is, you see there's that red dot on the right hand side. It's disappeared now. But there is a guy, or two, I think one of them is a machine gunner, one of them's a rifleman, hiding just in an area that Ollie can't quite hit directly. Sadly, he goes in direct control. That's a great feature of Men of War, by the way. You can directly control units. Literally. You know, you can change their weapons basically from a very weird kind of god third-person view. But it works really well, actually, and you can just use it for specific things, aiming for specific points on tanks, because tanks are modeled realistically in this game. Armor-piercing shells go through different bits faster, go through different bits better. If you hit the engine might set on fire, that'll blow the whole bloody thing up. Or, I mean, your engine's broken, but that can be fixed eventually. It takes a very long time. Okay, right. Yep, see, this machine gunner is causing a massive deal. He's finally died, and we're now taking the central point. You can see there's, on the map, on the left-hand side, which is where he currently has it. This is all movable, by the way. The UI is very cluttered, as you can see. There's a lot of stuff in Men of War. This makes StarCraft look like a simpleton's game. And here, enemy bringing up a truck. What you can see, though, is, anti-tank pack gun right on that hill. And this is that tit for tat. You buy something more expensive as the Americans than what the Germans have out, and kill it. Then the Germans do the same to you. And eventually, that leads to the kind of grand strategy of Germany in this game, which is basically you continually use your units if they continually use their units, because eventually you're going to end up with your much, much better units. Luckily, however, the Stuart that got taken out is repairable. You see that truck that moved across, it was a bit of a distraction, but it did actually do something more useful than just being a distraction. See, if you noticed, he's looted the dynamite that's left in the tank. Tanks have dynamite, and so that if one of them gets damaged in the middle of enemy territory, you can set the dynamite on and it'll go blow. And here, that anti-tank gun is firing high explosive shells right into these sandbags, and he's getting really unlucky, actually. Normally, sandbags provide a really, really good defense. But 2 shells and half a squad, maybe even more, is completely gone. And now, he's got no infantry superiority, and he's got no tank superiority. He has no good line of sights. He has nothing. He does have all his 10 special points, which means if he wanted to, he could do a really big, fast blitz using special points and normal points. On the right-hand side, you can see 386, and it goes up and up and up and up. And the 10 points, those don't go up. So you get special type units. You get US Marines, for instance, who carry a lot. They're like a normal infantry squad. But instead of having, say, 1 machine gun, 3 submachine guns, and 9 rifles, they actually have something like 4 or 5 rifles, 5 submachine guns, and 3 machine guns, which makes them a very, very brutal force. And units in this game also, they have specific ratings for how accurate they are with different types of guns. Very elite units, like the German Hero Veteran Sniper. Why is this M20 doing this? I don't know. Our ally, who spawns on the left-hand side, isn't making very good choices what he's buying. Like I said, yes, you need to be able to try and take stuff out, as the Americans, that is more expensive than the stuff you are buying. Because only that way will you be able to get sort of numbers of Shermans out. Shermans, in my opinion, I mean, there's a lot of people who disagree. Shermans, in my opinion, getting tons of different types of Shermans, getting Sherman 76s to take out tanks, Sherman 105s to take out emplacements like anti-tanky guns. Well, that makes them sound cute. They're really not. They kill people. Things that kill people aren't cute. I don't think there's anything that kill people are cute. No. But you can see here, Ollie's banking a lot here as well. And I'm surprised, because normally a player like Ollie would try and come up with something to do now. Because obviously it's very, very frustrating. They've got that middle point. They're the only one getting points. We're on 6 points. They've got loads more points than us. And this is not going well. Okay, the game type works on a kind of domination from Call of Duty style principle. In this, there are just more flags. You hold the majority of the flags, your points go up. You don't hold the majority of the flags, your points do nothing. Okay? So you need to have more flags than them. And you can see on that minimap there are 3 big green dots that we have, and 4 big red dots that they have. You can see they're kind of made so that flanking maneuvers are hard, but the attacking center is probably harder because that's where everything's going to be. And he buys a Sherman, sends it to the left-hand side and says, support me. Tanks need support in this game. This is not a traditional arcadey sort of RTS game. You cannot just send a tank to go and do an infantry squad's work. Because an infantry squad will sneak around it. It won't have as much good line of sight. You can see this current and my screen has ended. So there'll be black